Welcome back to Creating Stuff with Jim. I'm Jim, and it's time to create something. Well, in this episode, I'm not creating anything. I'm not building anything because I've already built it. But I really wanted to share with you what I did. And what I want to share with you is my stump grinder. And I built this before I thought about redoing my YouTube channel. And so I didn't take any videos of anything I was doing, but I took a bunch of pictures and I put pictures on my social media. And in all honesty, putting pictures of this on social media is kind of what started the wheels turning in my head in order to relaunch my YouTube channel with a different purpose. So unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of videos for you, but I do have a whole bunch of pictures. So if you watch my social media in the past, there's not going to be a whole lot new in this video. I'm going to grind a stump in the end of it, but if you're on my social media, you've seen all the pictures already. So, tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and show you the pictures that I have on the process of what I went through to build this, and then I'll point out a few things on you. So, let's get into that footage.
All right, this is really the best way I have to show you the more or less the timeline on how I built my stump grinder. This is more or less in the beginning, not necessarily the beginning. As you can tell, I already started assembling the main frame before I remembered, hey, why don't I take a picture? So, but these are all the main parts I'm starting with, not everything I'm using. But anyways, right here, this is the stump grinding wheel I got off eBay for like $100. That was the start of all of this, and I had no idea where it would take me, because I've done so much work with this stump grinder. It's absolutely incredible. So that is the stump grinding wheel. This is the gearbox I'm going to be using. This is just a gearbox for a bush hog. There's nothing special to it. I bought it for like $200, brand spanking new, and it even came with this little hub right here, so that I could weld on. So I said $200, brand new. That sounds good to me. So it has the 6-spline shaft to go to a PTO shaft, so it all worked out for $200. And the gearing in this gearbox is basically it's a it's a 1 to 1.46. So for every one time that this input shaft turns, the output shaft will turn 1. Almost a revolution and a half. So it actually speeds it up. And I wanted that because I wanted to get the RPM out of the grinding wheel, just so I could have some speed. And I will say that was the one thing I had apprehensive for this whole build, but for the sheer fact that you've seen it's done, it all worked out. So works great. So anyways, but this is the hub that came with it. I drew this flange out on CAD. I had it laser cut just for the precision, and it fit. It actually fits around a machine surface on this hub. Unfortunately, I already put this together, and I actually put it on a dial indicator, and I only had maybe like a 1,007 inch run out, so it actually turned out very straight. And that bolt pattern right there will fit that bolt pattern on the stump grinder wheel. Then the rest of the parts, these are all the design that I came up with. These parts right here. These are for the pivot and the boom. These are the gearbox mount. I actually designed those on Fusion 360 and sent them to Send Cut Send and had them laser cut and shipped to me. I did that because the metal that they were using, or basically at the time, it was cheaper. It was cheaper than going out and buying a big expensive piece of 1/2-inch plate steel. So I wasn't when I ordered them. I was a couple of weeks away from starting anyway, so that was not a big deal. A lot of the other parts, like those parts there, those are the two top mounts. I actually cut those out on my own plasma table. So, and of course, this is the boom PTO shaft. I got some turn ground and polished shaft, which is the pins, and that's some DOM pipe that is for the to go with the pins for the pivots. So basically, the inside diameter of this DOM was 2 inches, and I got this is 1 and 15/16 turn ground polished shaft. So they fit nicely without any machining done whatsoever. I was trying to avoid having to get custom parts made. I was trying to keep the cost down, is what I was trying to do. So they fit a little bit sloppy, but not too bad. It works. But let's move on. So now this is where I welded the for the 3-point hitch. This is the mount for the upper link. I cut those out on my plasma table, welded them on, and yes, I'm going old school. I'm using stick welder because guess what? I ran out of gas for my MIG welder, so it's what it is. I got the job done. It's better than sitting on my thumbs not doing anything. So now this is just the plasma table. These are the pieces I cut out for that I'm building the pivot with. And then here, this is the actual pivot for the boom that I have it mocked up. This is the DOM pipe. This is the vertical one. This is the horizontal one. I even put grease fittings in so I can keep grease inside of it. Not that it's going to get used enough to worry about wear, but I've worked with enough heavy equipment in my life that you know what, if I'm going to design it, might as well do it right. And then this is after I welded the pivot all together. Like I said, turned out very happy how it turned out. Just a little bit of cleanup on it. And this is where I'm mocking up my gearbox brackets. Basically, the boom is going to go right up in here. So basically, this big plate handles the majority of the load that this gearbox is going to put on the boom. Is basically the torque from this shaft right here, which is going to want to twist it. So this bracket takes all of that, but there's a lot more brackets that are going to go into it. You've seen the finished product, so but this is just a start of assembling the boom. And this is where I clamped it, and I'm actually welding it onto the boom. And these holes right here, those are relief holes, so I can I'm not relying solely on the weld on the perimeter of it, but I'm also getting weld on the inside as well. So that's where I'm fitting the gearbox to the actual boom itself. And now in this picture, I have the frame set up on the 3-point hitch on the tractor. And this is where I have my pivot. And basically I'm mocking everything up because with the PTO shaft on, and this is where I'm setting up where I'm figuring out how long I need to make the boom. So you can plan all you want, but sometimes you just gotta mock things up just to see how it's gonna fit. So, and this is where I'm welding the brackets on for the pivot. These are the brackets you saw in the earlier picture. They're just I just have the pin sliding through to keep everything aligned, get everything nice and straight, so it works. And then this is where I've cut the boom off to the proper length. The gearbox brackets have all been welded on, and now, like I said, I'm attaching the brackets to go from the boom to the pivot. Once again, I just have the pin slid through, and this is clamped on, so I can weld it all together. All right, now we're really starting to make some progress here. Everything still is tacked together, but I was just hooking it up and I was running it through the motions to make sure everything was right, and like I said, it worked out pretty good. And I did have some problems when I first started using it, but as I like to call it sometimes, it was self-inflicted, because I made a modification to my 3-point hitch so I could mount my backhoe on the back, which made me have to get a longer shaft, so PTO shaft. So things happen, but like I said, it's still coming together. But as you can tell, I have the winch cable from my 4Runner actually holding it off the floor, and then I have 2 ratchet straps that are basically keeping it secured. So that was a big sigh of relief. As you can see, I mean, the mounts are all welded on. It's looking pretty good. And actually, well, not all of them. I hadn't welded those yet. Now that I got the test run in place, now I'm moving on forward. Looking forward is getting some more parts of mounting the hydraulics. And basically, I plan to do the operator station is going to be standing right next to the tire. So basically, I took my transmission jack, and really, the nice thing is when you build things for yourself is basically I build it for my comfort and nobody else's. So if it's too low, too high, sorry about your luck. It's comfortable for me, and that's all I care about. So basically, I use my transmission jack until I got the valves in the exact position that's comfortable for me and what I want. So I did that so I could actually design the bracket, so I could design a bracket to actually mount the hydraulic control valves. And also, and I'm sure at this point, I was taking measurements to see what size of hydraulic cylinders I need. Well, I'd take that back. I just saw it in the picture. But in the previous picture, I was even taking measurements of what lengths of hydraulic cylinders I need for the swing and lift cylinder. So, but I'm still making some good progress. So now I start working on the head a little bit more. This is a plate welded onto the top where I could attach the swing cylinder to. Also, this adds a rigidity because I actually have a plate on the face and one right there. There's an eye for the lift cylinder that I welded in as well, and that's the tab for the swing cylinder. And actually, that's not in the final position it was supposed to be in. This actually moved around till I got to a spot that I was happy with it. But you know, when you build stuff, that's the beauty part of building of doing it. So sometimes things change. So once again, still I got the upper mount for the lift cylinder is welded in place, and now I have both the lift and swing cylinders are installed. So this is actually looking really good. This is really starting to get exciting. Believe me, I was really excited to work on this. A lot of fun. And as you can see, I got the pins in. I got retainers where I had a plate with a tapped hole where that plate and that bolt retains the pin from coming out. And all the pins are the same way. They're just different lengths. These pins don't have to be as big because they don't hold the load that the pivot does. So, but anyways, this is really starting to come together. So, and then this right here, this is the bracket I made for the hydraulic control valve. Basically, it's I just drew it up on CAD, cut it out on my plasma table. Which once again, if you're following my channel, hopefully you've seen some of my tutorial videos on how to use CAD and such a powerful tool it has. I mean, it was made life very easy on building this. So, and then here's the side view. This is the gusset on the bottom. Like I said, I mean, it's just a hydraulic control valve, but I tend to build things overkill. So why use 1/8 inch plate when I can use quarter? So I can hook that on something and this bracket's not going to move. Something else is going to break other than the bracket. So, and then here's the hydraulic control valve where I have it bolted down. So now this is really starting to look like a complete unit. And so now that I got the cylinders, got the control valve and everything on, now I'm looking forward to getting some hydraulic hoses made. And coming in the next picture, and here I got my hydraulic hoses made, which I actually cheated or worked smart, however you look at it, is because I went to my local hydraulic hose shop, which I mainly use Parker hose. They're not paying me to say this, but those are of all the heavy equipment I've worked on, Parker hoses are by far the best. They're super tough cover. Like I said, I've had those hoses get cut halfway through and on a knuckle boom truck, and it never blew. So it is that Parker has a great product, and the guys that work at my local shop are awesome. Is because what I was able to do is I just put the tractor on my car trailer, took it down, dropped it off with them for the entire day, and I just came and picked it up late at the end of the day and paid him, and I tipped the guy $50 because he deserved it. He did an absolutely fabulous job, and because I gave him a chart of where I wanted the hoses run, and the one valve that was plumbed in backwards was 100% my fault. I got my whatever backwards, but that was just switched 2 hoses. It was good to go, and I picked up the pressure in the return line from my loader valve up front. That worked out really well. So and I got a bucket of hydraulic oil to top it off, and it hardly filling the system empty hardly took any fluid whatsoever. What I call an exciting moment. Moving on. All right, now this picture is like, or sorry, this video. This is one of the process working on designing the guard for the stump grinder. Is basically that video is showing on how I took a picture and scaled it into CAD so I could actually design the guard on top of the picture. So that worked out great. And unfortunately this particular design is not the final one that I used, because the braces are on the inside, and on the final one the braces are actually on the outside. But this is this is just showing the power of computer aided design. And the scary thing is Fusion 360 is free to use, so it's downright amazing. So very, very powerful tool that you can have at your disposal that doesn't cost anything. So, and now these are all my pieces cut out. Basically what you saw in my design on there, I was able to export those on and turn them into G-code, cut them out on my plasma table. These are the support ribs, which they go on the outside. There's the inner and outside, and that's the outside, which I gotta wrap around the outside of it. And I'm going to have a couple of pictures in a row to show how I do this. Is basically I spaced them out equally. I put marks, welded them on there. Kind of looks like a caterpillar, sort of. And then what I did was I started at one end. I tack welded it in place. I clamped it, welded it, and then I was rolling these two pieces down as I was rolling the cover around it. And I don't want to say I have not had the best luck working with sheet metal like this, but I'm very pleased to say this actually turned out very well. I was very happy how it turned out. So in the last little bit I had to get a ratchet strap to pull that last little bit, but I got it. It turned out, I was very, very happy with it. It turned out great. So, and then there's the finished product for the guard for the wheel. So it turned out good. And now, and like I said, I didn't bore you with all the pictures of painting, because that's the one thing I hate doing most is painting. The only thing I hate worse than painting is servicing automatic transmissions. I hate to say, automatic transmission in my Dodge pickup, I think I paid, actually that's the one time I actually pay somebody to do is service the transmission for me. So, but here's test fitting the guard for the wheel. Just another picture on the other side, and I will note that the final design, there were some changes. I think I will point it out, because I ended up it actually vibrated and broke a weld. I actually had to put a brace on the side of it. That was no big deal, really no big deal whatsoever. And then here it is. That's the finished product before I got it dirty, and that stump grinder will never look this clean again, ever again, because that stump grinder is a working machine. Of all the attachments on I have for my tractor, I think I've used this one the most. So, well, and then this next clip I'm going to show you. Now I'm going to show you the very first stump I ground with it, while the paint was all still shiny. And I have actually ground a lot of stumps with this thing. So anyways, so now I'm going to take you back outside, and I'll just show you probably a time lapse of grinding a stump at my house, and I'll probably be about it. So we'll just head on outside. Now that you saw all the pictures of the process I went through to build this, now I'll just point out a few things that you saw the finished product, You can obviously see by the dirt on this that I've used it extensively since then. I've had to replace the teeth on the wheel once already. So, but there are a few changes that, anytime you design or build anything for the first time, there's issues that come up that are, there's problems in the design that you have to change as it goes on. And one of them was, I had to add that plate right there. I had to reinforce this because this square tubing is only 3/32 thick. It's not even 1/4 inch. So, but this pin takes a lot of load, and so it ended up bending the metal. So I had to cut reinforcement plates and weld them on, and they've been holding pretty good. This, due to vibration, this does vibrate loose from time to time. All I got, but I have my startup checks I do before I use it, and checking make sure that's tight is one of them. So another issue I ran into was the guard for the wheel. It actually it wiggled around and wobbled, actually broke a couple welds. So I had to add a support brace on it to help keep it from vibrating so it doesn't break any welds. But other than that, it's actually worked extremely well. I think I've grounded at least like 50 to 80 stumps with this thing so far, and it works great. So now I'm gonna show you what we're gonna work on today. Well, this is the stump that I'm grinding out today. So this is pretty big, as you can see. And on top of the size, I have a lot of surface roots. Ooh. We're every bit of 40 inches to 48 inches in diameter, so that's a pretty big stump. So tell you what, well, I don't grind stumps for a living. I just do this for myself and my friends. But if anybody's watching this, like I said, this stump is upwards of 40 inches in diameter. Just put a comment in there on how much, if you grind stumps for a living, how much you would charge to grind it, or if you've had one ground, how much did someone charge you to get it ground? So I'm just curious to see what people have to say about this. And but tell you what, I think there's enough yakking. I'm gonna get to work. I'm gonna get a time lapse set up. I'm not gonna bore you with grinding the entire stump, but I'll bring you back after I have it completely out, and I'll let you know how long it took me. So I'll see you on the other side. So, but I'm taking a quick break. I've been at it for over an hour, and this is my progress. I got one swipe all the way through the stump. So, and I'll tell you one thing, it's amazing. You don't realize on how much wood is in a stump below ground until you start trying to grind them out. So I got to clean all this mess up and keep on grinding. there you have it. It's more or less done. Took me about 5 hours and 16 minutes. So that's a lot of work. And I still got a little bit more. I still got to clean up the wood chips, and I'm going to probably be chasing those surface roots for probably a while, because that's just those are very tedious. So anyways, and I'll tell you what, I'll give you a quick peek. About half of that load is the wood chips from the stump, and I'm not even done with the wood chips. So that was a big stump. So but once again, if anybody watching this video has had a stump that's about 40 inches in diameter ground out, I'm curious, put in the comments on how much you were charged to do it, or if you grind stumps, how much would you charge to do a stump like that, just out of curiosity. So because I mean, it took me about 5 hours. I'm tell you the truth, I'm not even done. It'll probably take me closer to 8, if not more, to get it right, to get it all cleaned up and get all the surface roots. But once again, the stump grinder works pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. And even though I got more work to do, I'm going to end this video off here. So if you like the video, please, and you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. If you liked it, share it with your friends. So until then, until next time, I'll see you.